Welcome to this episode of Hustle and Pro. I'm your host, Kelly Walker, and I'm excited to bring you our guest story today from his own words. So welcome to Hustle and Pro, FC Dallas forward, Bernard Kamungo. All right, Bernie, so your path to where you are today is unconventional, and I feel like lately a lot of people are kind of telling your story. But, you know, born in Tanzania to Texas to playing pro soccer, but I kind of want to hear it in your own words, like how you see your story.
It's crazy, you know, when you start thinking about it. You know, I've heard a lot of people tell me about my story, and they're like, how'd you end up there? Because it's not easy, just from Tanzania to high school in Texas, and now you're playing pro. And I'm like, yeah, right. I never thought myself that I would, you know, become a pro as quick as I became here. It's like unbelievable. So for me, it's unbelievable. Every time I try to describe it, it's just I can't find words to put it together and say, okay, this is how it happened or whatever, because I wasn't planning on doing anything crazy. He wasn't part of my plan. It was a surprise, and I guess we just move along with it.
Yeah, and you're still in it. Like, you're still in your story. You know, you're not done yet. You're still in the exciting part of it. Mm-hmm. So your senior season in high school, roughly January 2021, your brother, Imani, is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Imani.
Imani pays for your NTSC tryout and urges you to go do that, right? Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. So what do you remember about your confidence level during that tryout and how you felt getting out there?
I remember on that day because we had a high school game the day before the tryout. So I played a high school game, and I think we won that game 3-2. And I scored like 2 goals on that game, so I had pretty much confident to walk into a tryout.
Yeah.
But I got hurt during that game, but I didn't tell my brother or anybody. I just kept it myself. So I played with my hamstring. You know, I was feeling something, but I didn't tell him because I didn't want him to feel any type of way. So I was like, yeah, you got it. You know, don't think about it, just do it. So I went to a tryout. I remember the first day for a tryout, I seen everybody just moving the ball, you know, passing the ball. Everybody's ready, wearing shin guards and all that. I'm like, oof, it's gonna be serious. I mean, I didn't know it was gonna be this serious. So our first game we played, because they just separated. We played 11 against 11, which my team we didn't lose any game. We played like 3-4 games. We didn't lose at all. And yeah, from there, that's when I started growing my confidence. I'm like, okay, I have a good team, and then we played very well. And then I got a couple of assists, a couple of goals, and I was like, okay, this is it. Yeah. So yeah, from the next day, because we had 2 days of tryouts, so the next day I was like, yeah, it's getting easy for me. So the next day, the coach walked out to me, and he's like, okay, we've seen you've done this, you've done that. We want to see something different. We want to see, you know, something that you haven't shown us. And I was like, what is that, guy? Because I don't know. So, cause
you're like, tell me what you want to see.
Right. Back then, I used to just play. I would just play, and then everything would just flow on its own. I don't have to think about doing this, doing that. And I was trying to be like a team player. I didn't want to be like individual or anything. Mm-hmm. So from there, I was like, okay, so you don't want me to pass the ball. You just want me to dribble around and score. I was like, cool. Which I did it like a couple times. And then after that, because my army was hurting me, so I was like, yeah, I'm not doing it again. So I did it like a few times, and then I stopped, and I just started being a team player. And then from there, Eric Quill saw me, I guess, and then Matt Denny, they came to talk to me, and they told me how good they think I am, and they invited me to the preseason with North Texas. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, when you don't know what they want, it's tricky because you don't you know what they're looking for specifically.
Specific, yeah, like,
but hey, you just do your thing, and it'll work out if it's the right thing they're looking for.
Right.
All right, so when you go from a living in a refugee camp to moving here to the U.S. with like little English language, right, and probably little material possessions, like when you think about that, what was your motivation then compared to now, 7-8 years later, when you're in your spot now? I mean, that's different things that you're thinking about on a daily basis and that are pushing you to be better, right? So how has that changed?
For me, it was I think one thing I would say is the opportunities here. More about motivation, because back in Tanzania, it was you were just thinking about right now. You're not thinking about what's next. You know, it's like, what are you gonna eat now? Because you know, tomorrow you don't know what's coming for tomorrow.
Just getting by the day.
Just getting by the day, and then tomorrow, if you make it, you can find something else for tomorrow. So, and then I came here. It's like you can get something today and plan for tomorrow. So, which was like a big motivation for me. I'm like, okay, so I can do this right now and get myself better for tomorrow, for my, you know, the future or something. So that kind of helped me out a lot, and just to see that I have opportunity to find something, not just for now, but for the next day, it was a good thing, yeah.
And then you go on and sign a long-term contract. So you were the 12th player in MLS Next history to sign a long-term first-team contract. You became a U.S. citizen May 2022, and here we are, April 23, and you score your first MLS goal. So what's next? Like, what do you look at? You now talk about you can look at the future, right? With the life you have today. Mm-hmm. What do you want to do next? What is your goal, and how do you look at the days to come and the years to come?
Oh my God, it's a lot. It's a lot to process at once, to be honest. So all I think about nowadays is just try to live it in the moment. You know, I just scored my first professional goal and MLS goal. So all I'm thinking about now is like, what's next? You know, how do I score the second one, the next one, assist the next game? So I just trying to be, you know, help the team every game I'm in. You know, every minute I'm given to play, I want to be helpful, and that's all I'm looking forward for now.
Yeah.
And hopefully, in the next couple of days, you know, anything else. You know, there's a lot of opportunities here. Maybe I could do something else different. You never know. So.
Okay, so go back to that goal. Walk me through that day. Is this you make the 18-man, you hope you're going to get in? Is this a planned substitution? You know when you're going in? Like, what's that look like?
I honestly didn't know if I was going to go in, because that was my first game I actually played this year. I didn't get many before that, so I was just there, you know, as a professional soccer player. You just gotta get yourself ready. You know, you do your routine and everything. So, which is what I did. You know, just do my normal routine and walk out to the game, do my warm up, my activation, and get myself ready. And then after that, I see my name being called out, you know, with the coach. I was like, ooh, this is exciting, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, because it's a little bit more pressure when you go into the game. It's like it's a tie game.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do both sides of the game, defend and attack.
Yep.
Which is tough, you know, when you just got into a game, because you run a lot. So I was very tired at that moment. But I know the best part of my game is to score goals, and then I was like, okay, as soon as the ball is like, because I started to play, I took the ball, because most of the time if I'm tired, I'll take the ball and pass it to the opposite side so I can, you know, take a breath. Which is what I did. I took a breath, and then I was like, okay, I think this ball is gonna end up to the left back, and he's gonna cross. So I try to put myself in the best position to like score a goal. Which is what I did, and I scored.
It was awesome. Yeah. Good memory, right? Good first game. Good first few minutes for you. I mean, how long from when you went to the goal? Was it like 10, 5?
Yeah, like 10,
yeah.
10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. It seems like quick to me, yeah. Because like all of us here, we're like, okay, who's this, 77? Is that your number? Mm-hmm. Like, who's this 77? Let's see what's going on. And then boom, before you know it.
And then I just scored.
Get the go ahead.
It was crazy. Yeah. I don't even know which minutes I went in. I think 72 or something.
That sounds right, yeah. Something in the 70s, yeah.
And I was shocked, because I thought I was going to go in like 80 something, but 72, I was like, oof, this is good. You know, first game of the season, and getting a good amount of minutes. I'm like, okay, this is enough for me. Yeah. So I guess you don't need a lot of times. You just need.
You don't, right? Yeah. You don't. All right. So when you talk about moving here to Texas, to the U.S., I'm curious, what is not what you expected? Whether it's something little or good or bad, whether it's something little from food, whether the actual soccer, the play here, the culture, the people, like, what surprised you?
Oof.
Or not what I mean, I don't know if you ever sat around and thought about it. You probably didn't before you were here.
I never thought about it, but to be honest, maybe the food. Because like when I used to like watch movies or whatever, I'll see the food in like videos, and I'm like, ooh, this food, is very good. And when I try it here, I'm like, it's just all right. It's nothing crazy.
Oh, it's just all right?
Yeah, it's like, it's not, it's not crazy. So I think the food, maybe, because, back in Tanzania, to where I was staying in camp, there was really nothing inside there. Even you know, fruits. You know, it's hard to even find an apple. I started eating apple here, and you know, over there it was more of mango and some other fruits. But like apple, I started eating here, which is like crazy. You know, I got here and I'm like, oh, so this is apple. They're like, what do you call this in Swahili? I'm like, I don't know.
There isn't anything. Yeah.
I've never seen it before. This is the first time. So there's a lot of stuff that I found whenever I got here, and I'm like, oh, so this is you know, it's a fruit. This is food, and I'm like, okay, now even water. You know, here a lot of people drink water every single time because they have, you know, they can drink it because they have it here. But back in Tanzania, it's like sometimes you don't have water, and you just have to stay like that. You know, it's tough. You know, I think it's just so crazy when I think about it. But yeah.
What is your favorite food now that you eat?
Now my favorite food.
Besides apples. What else besides apples are you eating?
I like steak. Okay. I'm more of a steak guy, so I've tried a steak and I'm like, yeah, this is my favorite.
What about culture-wise, like in the soccer culture? I mean, being an outsider, were you welcomed in? How do you, looking back, see that as a middle schooler? Middle school's hard for everybody, but I'm sure it's hard for somebody that doesn't speak their native language, isn't English, and they're, you know, jumping into a new world. I
mean, for me, I didn't have like a high expectation of what to, you know, to find. Whenever I go there, I will find this or find that. All I wanted, I was needed at that time. It was a better life, you know, somewhere I could go and just enjoy, have food, and you know, be able, you know, I want to see my family provide for me every single time, and I'm like, okay, this is it. So for me, it was more of a, what am I getting? If I'm not getting anything, I don't expect you to give it to me. It's okay if you don't have it, because I lived my whole life without getting, you know, enough stuff. So even in middle school, I remember we were. They didn't have a soccer club before, but the year that I was there, that's when they created one. They were like, oh, we do a soccer team or whatever. I'm like, okay, it's fine if we're gonna play soccer, because I wasn't really gonna ask for, okay, why don't you guys have a, you know, soccer team here? Why this? But for me, it's like, if you have it, I'm gonna play. If you don't have it, it's okay, you know.
Was that the first formal team you were on, soccer team?
Yes.
What, like 7th grade?
Yeah, it was 8th grade.
8th grade?
Yeah. And that was the team that I started playing on. And,
in Abilene?
Yeah, in Abilene, Texas. It was Craig Middle School.
Okay.
I played there, and then I enjoyed it. We actually won, because I think we competed with some of the middle school teams, and we won that.
Could you tell in 8th grade, when you're stepping onto a soccer team for the first time, I'm guessing a lot of those guys had been playing soccer forever, if it's anything like around here, right? Kids start playing on soccer teams and competitively even years before that. Right. So could you tell a difference in your play than others? Were you ahead of them, behind them?
Yeah, I was quite ahead of them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it was funny. So sometimes the coach would take me out just so we can be like a more of an equal team.
To give the other team a chance to play.
So they would put me in only when we're like, need to score, or, you know, we're like, okay, we need to put some of the guys in. So go in, score a couple goals, and they would take you out, and then they put some other guys.
You're the ringer.
So, yeah, because I remember so I was playing. For me, I was just doing it for fun, and then there was a guy from IRC, whatever his name is. So from there, and then he came to my parents. He's like, "Oh, this is your kid." And, you know, because they saw me on the news. They're like, "You see how many goals he's been scoring, whatever." My parents didn't know anything about it. They were like, "Oh, we didn't know he was playing soccer there, because he never mentioned it." And I'm like, yeah, because
wow,
yeah,
it just wasn't. It wasn't like you said. You weren't expecting anything.
I wasn't expecting anything. I was like, whatever you guys give me, I'll take it, because this is like by far the best life I've gotten so far. So,
well, I love it. I love that you said that in 8th grade, and now you're even, you know, what you've experienced since from then till now. What are you, 21 now?
Yeah, I'm 21.
Yeah, so I mean, you're, like I said, you're still in the early parts of this awesome story, but you're in the good part, right? And like, I'm excited to watch you continue on in this path and see what else you've got going on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so congrats. And thank you for taking time to talk to me. I know that you guys are training and you're in the middle of the season right now, and so you're focused. So thanks for taking a minute to tell us your story. And that's a wrap for this episode of Hustle and Pro. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube or for listening on your favorite audio podcast platform. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube so you can get alerts when there's new episodes. And you can follow us on Instagram at hustle_and_pro. We'll see you next time.